Welcome back to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Bros Podcast. Tonight's feature film is the 1983 American slasher flick, Sleepaway Camp, also known as Nightmare Vacation in the United Kingdom, for all the bloody cunts overseas.
Do they not have camps in England?
They always call their things vacation.
What do they call vacation?
Camp.
National Lampoon's Camp.
I'm going on camp with my family this summer.
No, I mean, what do they call the movie Vacation?
Oh,
I don't know. Probably vacation, but Nightmare Vacation doesn't make sense in the UK anyway, because they always say when they're going on vacation, they call it a holiday. Like, we're going on holiday, and you're like, the fuck are you talking about? A holiday is I guess
holiday is a holiday. So holiday is a vacation.
Holiday road.
Whereas camping is a vacation.
exactly, or something like that. I don't fucking know. Anyway, this movie's kind of one of those crazy flicks, spawned a shitload of sequels.
One of those crazy flicks. Such descriptive words.
No,
It's a cult horror film that has some controversy with it.
well, this probably has one of the greatest twist endings out of many slasher films.
I don't know if great is the word I would choose to describe it. People are dying. I don't know if great is the word I would choose to describe it.
Let's say it's infamous,
It's famous for sure. It's notable.
because it's not something you'd really do today.
And it's kind of
You
fucked
couldn't
up.
do that today. You couldn't get away with it today.
I mean, the story they put around that,
You could do it, but you'd do it differently. The focus would be more on how the character was forced into a gender that isn't theirs.
Oh.
yeah.
Again,
Wow. Yeah.
before we even begin, you will notice my shirt. Yeah, right?
What's it say?
It says, trans rights are human rights.
Uh-huh.
This character isn't necessarily a trans character based on this film alone.
Why'd you change your hat, Justin?
Why not? Doing a different segment, you dumb bastard.
Are you a bassist that's for that thing now?
Maybe Nick. Nick,
He's changed his stance as a bassist.
if we were famous, you'd already be canceled for your fucking weird, bizarre fascination with not being aware of other people's plight and suffering.
You were seeing all this plight, kids?
Yeah, take it in.
Roll them up.
I'm accusing you, sir. Not me.
We don't know who you
I'm
are.
not on trial here.
Well, anyway, let's get into this movie, and then we'll kind of get to shit as we get to it.
This movie starts off innocent enough, right? So it's the summer.
It starts off like meatballs.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, it's like, it looks like, oh, here's a fun summer camp movie, right? It's kind of like very laid back.
And it's
Yeah.
called Sleepaway Camp, so if you just go by the title, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you don't necessarily know that that's going to be a slasher flick.
Original poster was a knife with bloody shoes on it, so
No, I'm not saying if you saw the poster.
I know. I'm just saying. At least they knew what they weren't just like, hey, look, it's a fun summer movie. They were like, it's a fucking blood gore summer movie.
God damn it.
And
Camp
the
ROF.
opening scene
right?
here with the boat colliding into these two fucking people is pretty brutal. It's pretty shocking. Like, it's well done enough, you know. Like, this is a pretty good.
It's kind of unseen a little bit.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying like it's super gory. I'm just saying it like
But
it's effective.
But knowing what's going to happen is
Yeah.
effective, yeah.
Yeah, essentially. So you got this guy that supposedly, I don't know if he's works at this camp over here or whatever else, and is basically got a young lady in the boat with him, and she's asking him to drive. So having this whole conversation around that. Meanwhile, you see this innocent enough family kind of on this tiny ass little sailboat. Looks like an instructive sailboat. And so a father and two kids, right? A boy and a girl. And you're like, okay, they're just kind of hanging out, and they wind up.
You dumb bastard. That's not a schooner, it's a sailboat.
Yeah, exactly. So they flip the boat on their dad to fuck with them and piss him off. And then that's when things take a turn.
Yeah, and the boat kills the fucking dad and the
Little boy. Want it?
no. It's the little girl.
Oh, I thought the little girl was the one that was screaming, "Help us" or "Help them."
No, that was
A different girl.
that was the girl who was being, that was the girl skiing.
Oh,
She was connected to the boat that hit them, and she's, "Oh God, we killed them!"
oh, okay.
And yeah, that scene's fucked up and just like, I don't know, it's well done. I like it.
It's freaky, but at the same time, as someone who loves the fucking movie The Great Outdoors, I just was like screaming at the TV, like, "Let go of the rope, go loose when you fall." Like, why didn't you just let go?
Well,
Go.
that wouldn't have not.
Yeah,
Even
that-
if she let go, they still would have hit the people and killed them. So it's.
But if she let go sooner, maybe they would have stopped or turned around.
And maybe they would have noticed that they weren't towing her anymore or something. I don't know.
I don't know. She said go faster.
Yeah, you bastard.
Then you get Angela, Rick, and Paul kind of talking at the camp. That's like your first big moment. They do a little bit of a, "Oh, look, here's some camp. Here's some camp. Here's some opening credits." But you get
There's a lot of camp.
Angela and her cousin Rick and the guy who's completely uninterested in her at first, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get, Judy, Meg, and they're kind of pricks. Judy's a bigger prick than Meg. Meg is not as obvious about it. Get Angela staring at Meg once they're kind of like, Rick takes her over to her camp, fucking bungalow or whatever the hell they're called, cabin. And she's just fucking staring at Meg. And Meg's like, "Yo, what the fuck? What are you staring at me for, you fucking bitch?" And then, later on, she's, one of the other counselors approaches her, this big fucking buff dude wearing almost nothing, and he's like, they're like, "She won't talk or eat." And he's like, "Why don't you come with me? I'll get you something to eat."
His balls are almost hanging out of his shorts.
I saw them, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of scenes where the ball sack is hanging from the shorts
Big old pecs.
in a non-comedic way. Like, it was just kind of like the shorts are that short, and they didn't really like. It's fine. It's just a scrotum.
And, he's like, I'll introduce you to Artie, and he'll get you something to eat. Artie, you want to get her some, like, ice cream or something? And Artie's the head chef, and he's like, "Sure, I'll get her some ice cream."
I'll get
Basically.
I'll get her some penis. I mean ice cream.
Yeah. "I'll get her some cock ice cream." Cock.
Some pralines and dick.
Basically. And then he takes her back into the freezer and literally is like, "See anything you like?" And then he starts unbuttoning his pants. I don't even know what he says there, but you're just so fucking horrified.
Yeah.
Luckily, Rick catches Artie fucking doing this, and then he threatens him. He's like, "Don't ever fucking tell anybody about this, you fucking bitches." And they run out of there. And then I love these old slasher movies, the point of view of the killer.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And you're kind of sneaking around the kitchen watching Artie fuck around. He's cooking again.
What size is that pot?
I know, it's fucking insane. But if you were making,
Yeah.
like, I've made barbecue sauce and shit in pots like that when I've been a prep cook before. So just not on a stovetop like that. Like, you have a floor fucking drum barrel that heats up in a completely different way. It's a different thing these days, but I don't know. For the purposes of this movie, it's pretty hilarious. And then it ends up fucking pushing him, and you get that classic where, "Oh, it's you!" Basically, you get that a lot throughout this movie. Yeah, "What are you doing here?" "Oh no, stop it!" And then he calls for help and all that shit, and the pot ends up falling on him. And he's the only character that doesn't die on screen. We don't know if he dies. He possibly lives, and he's the one who was worse than all of them.
I would think he probably did live from that.
Exactly, but he was the worst person. He was the one who deserved to
disfigured.
die.
Right.
Yeah, he's basically covered in third
She's
degree.
obviously not the first fucking camper.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I mean,
boiling
let
water.
alone just the attempt there is bad enough to let him die or whatever. But
But maybe it's actually better because now he's like gonna suffer for a long time. instead
yeah,
of
maybe
just
it burned
being-
his dick off.
Instead of just being put
No
out of his
nerves left.
misery. There's worse things than dying, of course.
Well, and that camp owner is a fucking complete asshole too. Basically, he's like trying to
Yeah,
downplay it all and everything else. The one thing you didn't mention earlier, and I just want to mention it now because it'll come back full circle eventually, is the crazy aunt. Right. So Aunt Martha is there with Angela before she sends her off, and she's just fucking weird and eccentric and just off-putting immediately. And you're like, why the fuck is this lady here?
Yeah.
And it comes back later, obviously, but I just wanted to mention that because that's like right before you got into the full camp scene. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna throw you on the bus to camp."
Yeah. Then you get there's a baseball scene, there's some other campy shit.
The butt kissing scene in the boys' cabin's pretty funny because like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna do this," and makes them kiss the ass or whatever, which is hilarious. I mean, that's like some legit stupid shit kids would do at camp, right? Like playing pranks like each other on that, especially in that date and age.
If
So-
somebody does that to me, prepare to get the shit kicked out of yourself, though.
Well, no shit, but I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of bullshit that would happen there. So it like takes some of the comedy style elements from a
Yeah, I
tradition.
could do without some of that, but the movie's not too long, so luckily I don't care that much. They don't
Yeah.
do much of it, but I didn't even take notes on almost any of that shit because I was kind of like, bleh, whatever.
And then they have that whole socializing scene where they're trying to get everyone to know each other.
Yeah, and then they're like,
Then
trying to
there's this
get people to
weird
go up to
flex.
Angela.
Then there's this weird flex where they're trying to get all these girls to go skinny dipping with them, and none of them do, and all these dudes go get fucking naked and jump in the water with each other.
Hell yeah, they do.
Okay. I mean, that's like I party how you want to party, but for the time,
Party hardy, Marty.
it was a little interesting to see a bunch of dudes run and jump naked in there after they're like trying
They're
to rip.
just, they
fun of
can't
girls.
get. They're not gonna get. They're just gonna give some handies in there.
Yeah, it's fine.
He looked over to me, and he asked for a little relief,
Mm-hmm.
and I did the worst thing that I've ever done in my life. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who was convinced to jerk off the guy, while the guy was also molesting his daughter and fucking his wife, but fucking his wife and fucking him just so he could blackmail them and keep fucking his daughter. Or molesting his daughter, whatever the hell. That whole fucking... Yeah.
Was that in Family Ties?
No, that's an episode of Alf, actually.
Yeah.
Alf is like, Willie, could you help me out with a little relief? And I reached over. Hey, Willie, see what that mouth does.
Jim Stewart now.
Hey Willie, you ever seen a Mel Mackey penis?
Right.
If
There's
you don't
three
do this, Willie.
Looks like a Gadara.
Jesus.
It's funny. Yeah, so more shenanigans at the lake. Then they get the flip canoe where that guy talks that girl into going out on the canoe, and then he winds up dying.
Oh, yeah. He gets
That's
drowned.
That fucking death scene when they find that kid's body the next day is amazing. I love that fucking snake coming out of that guy's dead mouth.
Yeah.
That is so fucking cool. I was like, damn, that's a good scene. Like, that's scary because a lot of people hate snakes. And like that legit looks like it's coming out of a real person's mouth there. So
Yeah, that was a good effect.
Judy ridicules Angela for not showering with them.
yeah, and then they tease her about
She's queer, and
Yeah.
pervert. Yeah, like, yes.
Mhm.
You don't shout with girls, get queer or something? Like, well, if she was.
And then Billy's killed by a bunch of bees.
Oh yeah, on the shitter too. I love that. That's a good fucking cheesy scene as well because he goes to drop a deuce. He's in the bathroom, and then you see someone cut the screen window open, and then all of a sudden you see a fucking beehive get tossed into the bathroom. And like, talk about getting caught with your pants down.
They did him in pretty quick, too.
Yeah, it was.
And then they remade
I
this.
think it's second to Macaulay Culkin's bee death, though.
It still is. As I was gonna say, they remade this scene later on in a movie called My Girl.
He can't see without his glasses.
Oh God.
There he was, just walking down the street.
Singing.
Got to review that sometime.
R.I.P. Thomas J.
That is a good flick.
I watched
My Girl.
that not too long ago for the first time in forever.
So Mel suspects that there's a killer at the camp, which is super, super exciting for
That's
him.
interesting because I wrote that note down as Mel is a shithead
Yeah.
based on his behavior towards Rick and being like, "No, you're doing this all, aren't you? You're trying to ruin me. You're trying to ruin me, aren't you? You gotta let her do her own thing." And that's when they throw Angela in the water. And then later on, she's making out with Paul, and she has a flashback again to her crazy aunt.
That flashback is of her dad and his boyfriend in bed.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was thinking of later. See,
Which at the same time, like, there's some fucked up stuff in here, but like that, like it just seemed like it was casually done in a way that wasn't like, oh, they're trying to make this look like it's fucking unnatural. It seemed like it was fairly respectful in the way they portrayed that piece.
well, those characters themselves, sure,
yeah,
but how those
overall,
characters are looked at, no.
yeah, no, for sure. That's what I mean. Like it doesn't know what kind of commentary it's wanting to have on that, which is essentially what it's pretending to kind of have. Is
It was also made at a weird time, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's things to be said. While we're on the subject, I do have some notes on this. Let me see where they are real quick. From the Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, we're
Really?
trying to find them.
Yeah, I'm trying to find them.
You looking for some notes?
Apparently, I didn't screenshot it enough.
Enough.
Well, like the right part.
Come here. Get up here and
But
show your-
basically, it's a couple of different opinions on the controversy within the film. The film critic and transgender, well, let's not go that far. Let's just say trans or trans woman. Film critic and trans woman Willem McClay, in an essay about Sleepaway Camp for the magazine Clio, characterizes the film's ending, in which Angela is revealed to have a penis, spoiler, as both a unique element that sets it apart from other slasher films of the era and deeply trans-misogynistic. McClay criticized the film for its equation of mental instability with having grown up in a gender role not concurrent with your identity. Nearly every single transgender person grows up being raised in a gender role that does not fit, and that doesn't mean that they are mentally ill or seriously violent.
Yeah.
In a different editorial, BJ Colangelo, what the fuck kind of name is that? Wrote, the ending of Sleepaway Camp offers two reveals that are wildly offensive to the LGBTQ community, including both the father and the penis. It is a terrible transgender representation, but it is an incredible metaphor about how forcing gender roles onto someone that doesn't align with who they are is fucking dangerous. If Peter had not been forced to live his life as Angela, the events of Sleepaway Camp could have been avoided. But they are not arguing that gender dysphoria causes violence either or anything like that. So it's just kind of a very weird subject.
It seems like this was written out without a lot of thought based around that, like about the implications
Yeah, you'd think
of
so.
what that looks like, because it just seems ignorant to that. Like, okay, like here's a, it seems like they're going more for just the plot twist than actually
a message.
anything else, right? Because all they really
Yeah.
wanted was basically there's an hour and a half for like, this could have been a short film and done the same thing if that's all your point was to have the shock ending.
Lastly, I'll say trans woman Alice Collins of Bloody Disgusting said that Sleepaway Camp is steeped in queerness, especially when compared to its contemporaries. In its day, took a deeper look into the subject matter than that of other films. Angela and Peter's dad is a closeted gay man, and there's a forced gender bending, which is abuse. And the majority of the scantily clad people in the film are men with all those very short shorts that leave little to the imagination, while there is little skin shown of the feminine variety. Collins argues that Angela is a transgender girl, noting that in the film's sequels, Angela is presented as a woman who uses feminine pronouns. So despite Aunt Martha being insane, she just happened to stumble upon a person who was already a girl, and it was just an accident that her brainwashing worked. So again, lots of different opinions. I think that it's okay to be not okay with some of this movie. And it's okay to be like, well, it has its issues, and I still enjoy it for what it is. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think it was made out of a malicious way, but also it's not great for trans people. It's not.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not even. You can't even for sure say, like I said, that it's a trans character unless you are quoting the sequels, but those were made by different people. At that point, it's a different fucking headcanon. So
Yeah, and they're retconning and all that, whatever else, right?
Yeah.
I guess for me, the big things that really kind of fucked this movie up is that, but there's not a lot of dialogue in there disparaging people for their choices, right? It's more like that social commentary. It's subtle because there's no like dialogue specifically written around it, right? It's all visual tactics, right? So when we see her dad,
Well, yeah. You also
Well-
have to take that into account. It's the fact that a traumatic event happened, a super traumatic event happened, and then that's what basically in that person's mind caused their gender to be changed by someone else.
yeah, that led to
So
that. And
that could possibly be them trying to be themselves by revealing their penis and trying to cause more trauma, basically, by killing a bunch of people. I might have just discovered the psyche of this movie. But you know what I'm saying? Just it's a wild movie.
well, and then you can't
Fucking
have
nuts.
like, you know, a rape scene in there too, which really, you know, anytime you present a rape scene on a film is kind of fucked up anyhow, right? That's just something that you really, I don't know if you ever really have a true legit reason to depict any of that shit, right? I mean, especially for someone that's gone through that, to see that in a movie is fucking extremely insensitive to that. But you know, Judy gets murdered with the fucking curling iron, raped with it to death, smothering her with a pillow. So you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's a pretty brutal scene.
That's a dope scene. I'm not gonna lie. Sticking
Yeah.
curling iron in someone's pussy to kill him is pretty fucking brutal, and is also just a good slasher film kill. As fucked up as it is, that's why it works. Because with horror, I think the thing is, if you're being that horrified and disgusted by something, that means they're doing a good job. You know what I mean? Because I rarely feel that when I watch horror anymore. It's unless it's
That's true, but it just kind of added a layer on like the you know, just the sexual undertones that are just very fucking out of
I think the cook
touch.
about to do the shit to her is worse than that. Like more triggering, especially because that's a much younger child.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How old is she supposed to be?
Angela, I don't know, 13 or 14.
13, 14, yeah.
I think the actor was 12 or 13.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Let's just give a shout out to Felissa Rose as iconic Angela. You know, you could argue that, oh, well, Angela doesn't have to do anything. But Angela has to act really fucking weird in this movie and pulls it off. And when has to act, you know, is trying to act normal, or it seems like it, is doing a good job at seeming like somebody who doesn't want to interact with people but is trying.
I love that scene where she's sitting on the bench or whatever, and that girl is like just giving her a bunch of shit, and she just sits there and stares at her and doesn't say a word. I was cracking up.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that to somebody sometime.
Meg is trying to fuck Mel for some reason. Like, who the fuck wants to fuck that guy? No one. It's not a sexy old man. It's just a fucking old man.
No kink shit.
She goes in the...
Some people like old, disgusting men. Like they usually-
Age is not a kink. That doesn't work.
even for old.
No, because by that logic, all
Yeah,
age is kink, and then you're just going down a bad fucking road, Nick.
Yeah, but that's a really bad one.
You
If
fucking
it-
Roman. Meg goes to the shower and gets fucking murdered in the shower through a shower wall or curtain. I don't know what's happening here. This is the worst death, to be honest. It could have been better.
What happened in that one again?
Exactly.
Well, basically, it looks like she leaned up against the shower stall wall where she's cutting through the fiberglass, but there's no way you'd be able to do that easily.
13-year-old girl is, well, I mean, you know,
I remember-
13-year-old girl.
I remember when they find her body, but I don't remember exactly how she died.
Well, yeah, she basically
stabbed in the
stabbed
shower.
in the back, so
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that.
and
Now.
it like pulled down through the shower, and then like you see,
Yeah,
the
she like runs it down her spine or something, right? Or
Yeah.
yeah, but it's basically it's not even the shower curtain because she's like got her body weight leaned
yeah,
up.
it seemed like it was a wall. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
They had the shower curtains they were using were the Walter Cronkite moon rings. And then
Walter Cronk.
Paul is still all about like trying to get with Angela, and she's like, "All right, meet me at the waterfront after the social." And he's like stoked. He's like, "Finally, I'm gonna get my dick wet." With blood probably. and not in the fun way. 'Cause there is a fun way. We all know it. Oh, and then Eddie has he's gone camping with the kids, right? Six kids.
Mhm.
And two of them are like, "Fuck this! I don't want to be out in the fuck this. No, take me home."
Yeah, well, they're like, I'm cold, and they're basically finding ways to say, hey, let's get out of here. This isn't cool.
Yeah. So
Right.
he takes them back, and Judy's making out with some fucking dude, and she's like, "Do you have to kiss so wet?" That's a funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
some of the dialogue's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
No, it does, especially for like a bitchy teen like her. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't give a fuck. Meg is found by Mel, who starts losing his shit. Well, continues losing his shit, let's say. And then that's when Judy gets punched and penetrated with the curling iron.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that happens.
pretty brutal, man.
And Eddie finds the 4 kids he left axe murdered.
Yeah, fucking asshole.
Who? Eddie? Eddie's not an asshole.
He left the kids to get murdered.
He didn't leave them to get murdered. He left them to bring the other 2 kids back. They got murdered. It's not like he knew they were going to get murdered. Eddie's not an asshole there. I don't think Eddie even dies, so he got away scot-free. If he was there, he would have gotten killed too.
Possibly.
He was just being like the cops in Uvalde.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Mel tries to kill Rick, and then he gets an arrow in his neck.
That's a fucking cool shot too. That arrow right through the neck. And it looks good. Like, it even sticking out, like, right, they didn't try to make it bloody or chunky or anything too crazy, but it's just a good looking effect.
Yeah. And
Because it would take a minute for blood to, like, gush out of that, especially with a clean shot like that with an arrow, right? You're basically stopping the blood before it even does anything.
So Paul and Angela meet up by the lake, and she's like, "Let's go swimming. Take off your clothes." And he's like, "Fucking score." And they start stripping. And then we pass away to the cop. All right, and I just got to point out his insanely bad fake mustache.
Oh, yeah? I
Did
didn't
you-
even catch that.
Jesus fucking Christ. I swear to God, go back and look. Because it is like fucking costume store bad. Like
Really?
Halloween
Is
costume.
it crooked?
No, but it's just like, you could tell it's just fucking a taped on mustache. And it's so bad.
A cop's got to have a mustache.
Exactly. But the guy probably just couldn't grow a mustache. Or didn't have the
Call
time
that a
because it's a
mustache?
low budget, like last minute role they filled or
Yeah.
something. And that's when you get the flashbacks of Angela being forced to be a girl from Aunt Martha, who's like, "Oh, we already have a boy. Another boy won't do, will it? Nope. We'll call you Angela."
And she's crazy. She's like, I always wanted another kid, but, like, my husband left her. And you're like, well, no fucking wonder. You're fucking nuttier than squirrel shit.
Yep. And you get the shit. I don't even realize what guy that is that comes and finds them. But Angela's sitting there with what looks like,
I think it's
Hey,
Ronnie and Susie walk up to find Angela sitting there on the shore with Paul.
with naked Paul is what it looks like, laying in her lap.
Yeah, and she's
Uh,
quietly humming that tune.
Yeah. And then, nope, Paul has been decapitated.
Mhm.
And I don't know what effect they used to get Angela's face on this. Like, it looks like a freeze frame, just like a still. And, like, they added it in post, some weird, like, some splicey old effect. But it's disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking.
The face is what makes it creepy, not the penis, let's be honest. And the fact that the body is all of a sudden like 2 feet taller and different skin tone and just not the same body at all.
Yeah, like the
It's monstrous.
The penis?
The penis is not, to be clear.
just that face thrown on there, right? So
You're swimming.
And then it just freeze frames on that, and it's like, roll credits.
well, yeah, because they couldn't really do anything beyond that reveal, right? When you're
Well, actually, they do. They get the reactions, and it's oh my god, She has a penis or something.
Yeah. Yeah, Susie and Ronnie
Nice.
basically.
That should have been added. Nice. She has a penis? Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This was a great choice for Pride Month.
That's why I picked it, because it actually is an interesting talk for Pride Month.
Mhm.
It's not all about sunshine and farts and daisies and shit.
Yeah, and corporate companies trying to like fucking blow smoke
And-
and like they give a shit.
You need to make a little rainbow symbol for our...
It's not like we're going to cover a bunch of movies about gay people starring straight people either. Like, that's a little, it is what it is.
Next week we're doing Crying Game.
But it's like, what are we going to do? Fucking
Crying.
Brokeback Mountain and Birdcage? Like,
We should do
I mean,
Bird...
for
We
Christ's
talked about
sake.
doing Birdcage like a year or more
We
ago.
will, but it's not for fucking Pride.
Yeah, you can just cover that for its own validity, not because you're trying to.
I'm not even saying it's offensive towards gay people, because Nathan Lane is in there. But you do have Robin Williams being like,
Pretending to be gay.
yeah. And it's a little... I don't hate it. I'm not offended by it. I still love the movie. I'm just saying it's not pride-worthy. And I think this is Haunted by Tapes anyway. It's not our main podcast, and we always do horror. So it's, as far as queer horror, it's a good choice. There's also, speaking of queer camp-themed horror, I believe there's a movie about Nicolas Cage is in some movie that's supposed to be about non-binary people and shit, about murdering in a camp.
Camping? Oh,
Some shit like that. I can't.
Nicolas Cage.
I have to look it up. Yeah, I think it's Nicolas Cage anyway. Either way, that's Sleepaway Camp. Love it or leave it. You know.
There's a bunch of legit shit that makes you maybe not want to see it, but at the same time, if you're into the horror genre, it's kind of, I don't know, I'd almost say that's an essential viewing just to kind of see a different take on horror, because it's very formulaic and trope filled with certain things, but then like the controversy that it has surrounding it just makes it worth something. Like, hey, should you see that just to understand it?
I'm a fan.
You know, I
I
think
recognize the issues, but
yeah, I mean, you speak about the issues, you talk about them because there's legit shit that's wrong with this, but at the same time, it's also, you know, a slasher flick. So you got to watch it and love it or leave it.
let us know what you guys think of Sleepaway Camp. Did you like it? Have you seen it before? If not, where's it streaming free? Where'd you guys watch it?
Mine was on Freevee or some shit like that.
I think it's on Tubi, on Peacock. It's on a bunch of different streaming platforms, so it's easy to find for free. So
I clicked on
I
the
watched my
Amazon
copy.
Prime option and it was like Freevee or something.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm about to yawn, so good night, everybody.
Good night.